Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit, two model kits in fact, because we'll be wrapping up one and starting another. And I'm here to hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the emote in the chat. Dirty's already here. Hello, Dirty. If you're a subscriber, you can put those emotes in the chat. If you're not a subscriber or you don't feel like using those emotes, you can just say hi. We've got Hadel here. We've got Lashbrook. Welcome everybody. And we also have a microphone. And I'm still not sure where this is going to be precisely. I did a test stream of this USB condenser microphone. I did a test stream and I had it over here. But that's also where I keep all my model kit, like all our spruces. And so I was like, if I put it there, then I have to dig around. So I put it on the other side, which is also where the light source is. So I'm trying not to cast even more shadows in my build space. And then also put it in a position where it doesn't block one of my monitors. It's all, the real thing is that the headset microphone is great for just model kit building, but everything else I do, having the headset on is odd. Like when I'm recording things with other people, if I'm doing a podcast or something like that, having an actual microphone. Now what I normally stick it right here, do it like this. Yes. Can I properly build like this? No. So even though I would like to have it like this for model kit building, it's not convenient. The only way this would be convenient is if I had a boom that could like stick it like pointed at me from the behind my monitor. And that's something I'm going to look into. Right now I got a swivel arm, which is very helpful for it, but it's not doing what I need it to do, which is I kind of need it to be like almost where my webcam is. So I am looking at ways to make this all work better. But now you're not wearing headphones, and that is also weird. Yes, Lashbrook. Oh, and Jam just subscribed. Jam just 42 months. Thank you so much. Let's throw the Bear Cave Lego the set emote in chat for Jam. Sound quality is noticeably better. That's the real honest thing is a headset microphone is only so good. And I have a noise gate that I'm playing around with and a noise suppression that should keep the fans from my computer from you being able to hear that, and then other things. And I will have headphones. The real thing is I don't know where my headphones are. My headphones that can plug into a computer because I have Bluetooth earbuds. I don't have Bluetooth on this computer. And then I have like iPod or my iPhone headset, but I don't have like just my regular headphones. I can't find. I know I brought them, so I'm looking for them. So for tonight's stream, I don't have headphones on, which is weird. So this is like my position for when I'm chatting with all of you, but I can't really build like this. I don't know if this is going to convey. If I go like this, it's not the worst, but like it's in my line of sight, and I don't like that. And this isn't good either. But is this good? Like if I kind of need my microphone to be like here, but not there because then you see it. So kind of need it to be here. The question is this okay? Do I need to boost the gain on in audio here in OBS? Can I model kit build like this? Can you hear me fine? Like obviously you're going to be able to hear me. Dirty says 5x5. Yeah, you're going to be able to hear me better when it's directly in front of me. But I can't right now get it directly in front of me. What I'm going to need to do is, as I said, is I'm going to get a mount for this that I can set up pointed at me, like behind me, a shotgun mic almost. I can't do that here, but if I'm here, because most of the time I'm building, I'm looking down, but I'm also looking at this monitor, which is where you are at, so the dashboard is at. So let me know, how does this sound right now? Would you like a little bit more? Like you be my audio test. Would you like me to boost it a little bit? You still sound good. You can tell the mic is a bit further away, but totally fine. Can you have it hanging down like you're a boxing announcer? That's all. No, I can't, Lashbrook. That does sound awesome. But I don't think I can do that. Don't think that's gonna work. Yeah, because then I could just lower it down like this. Like, no. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, like, well, if I do this, okay. So you can probably boost it a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to do this because this way I can still work on a model kit, but my microphone is closer to me. How does this sound right now, folks? Listening to me here, imagine I am working on this kit and I am assembling these pieces. We'll just do this right now, and I am looking to try to figure out how this goes, and it goes like this, and I moved the microphone pretty close here. This is better. Great. You sound great. Well, thank you very much. Nice to hear, bro. Good to see you. Welcome. Happy to have you here on a fine Monday evening, my friend. We got Charlie in the house, which is always nice. But yeah, we're working on a gun here for the beam rifle, I should say. Yeah, so that Jesta is such a fun build. Yeah, this is the 2013 Jesta. It has been a great build. I've enjoyed it very much. 2013, which is, oh wait, actually, yeah, okay. 2013, which is a interesting year for model kit building, because they hadn't fully transitioned into the period where a lot of these manuals had lots of English in them. But the materials are all really good. Like, this is a good era for plastic. So, and yeah, as far as the master grade goes, like, plenty of polycaps on this master grade. We're not going to use all of these, but we still used a lot. All right, so for now, you can still, this is also the thing. I really like this. Some people do this where they have a green screen. It's got them crazy hands. Yeah, I don't like the hands. The tip of one of these fingers just does not want to stay on, which is fine. If I was going to display it, it would be really annoying. But I do like that they made the temp. They kind of did what eventually they would nail for the real grades. But it's not great here. They're not super sturdy, but the engineering design kind of breaks my brain. Yeah, totally. They're not sturdy, these fingers, but it's an interesting attempt of like a one-hand skeleton. Hey, Lord Crashington, welcome. So sometimes folks have green screens and they put a green sock on their microphone so that their mic can be in shot, but you don't see it because they've got the green screen. And I think that's rad. But instead, I'm just going to have my microphone right here, which still lets me build without any problem. And hopefully, you can hear me really well. And if you need me to boost a little bit here, if you're having a little trouble hearing me, I certainly can do that. And I will have headphones so that I don't have one. I'm going to need headphones for Wednesday, which we'll talk about here very briefly. I'm going to retweet my tweet. Because on Wednesday, it's my birthday this coming Wednesday, and I will be playing Jackbox with chat for my 41st birthday. So I definitely want to have game audio in my headphones for that stream. I will have headphones for Wednesday. I'm going to figure this out and find them. But yeah, Jackbox party, birthday party. I'm turning 41, so let's have a great time on Wednesday, June 23rd from 9 p.m. till question mark. I don't know how long we're going to play, but that's this Wednesday, so please come for that. And then also, I have Friday plans for you. Yes, it's a birthday indeed. I'm doing a PAX panel next month for PAX East Online. They put East in the online name because they might do PAX West Online. I don't know if they're going to do that. Don't hold me to that. Don't hold them to be thinking that. I think they're going to do two onlines this year. Don't think they're going to do a show in Seattle in September. That's just my guess. Anyway, but I'm doing a panel there for PAX Online East on July 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern. We recorded it. We recorded it on Friday. So it'll be weird because when you watch it, I'll have my headset microphone on and you'll be like, oh, that's in the past, not the present, which is this present that that we're in now. And then I'm also gonna, like I said, I'm going to investigate a boom that will that I can attach to my monitor stand, I guess, and stick over. That's the goal right now. but it's a condenser. It's not a shotgun mic, so I don't know if that's going to work, but whatever. Anyway, I got to learn about like noise gates, and that's interesting, and the thing that I have not had that I know about, but I haven't had to put in practice. Anyway, let's get into this, which is we got to put stuff on this Jesta. This Jesta needs weapons, so we're working on weapons for our Jesta here. We're going to put that over there just so it's out of the way. I keep seeing the microphone, and I'm afraid I'm going to hit it. And I don't want to hit it, but I'm afraid I'm going to. So that's fun. Oh, Harold is now hosting the stream. Thank you very much, Harold. Also, an odd thing about not wearing headphones. Hey, Spen, welcome. An odd thing about not wearing headphones is I can hear myself very well because I never had my own audio in the headphones as like a monitor. But now I can really hear myself, and that's weird because that's not normal for me. Okay, we got the window here. That's the last part of this, of our lovely, lovely orange that is in the face. That is a great orange. Now we need E. Yeah, so this was bought on my Amazon wish list. Very happy to have it. It has been fun to try to get used to it. I shot a video for that'll go up on Wednesday on my YouTube with this. That was the first video. I did stream yesterday very briefly, just trying to dial it in. And I had like, oh, I didn't announce it. I didn't put up on Discord. I just tweeted, "Hey, I'm live testing. Come hang out." And like, luckily, like 3 people came in to just be like, "Yeah, it sounds okay. Oh yeah, you want to move it closer. Oh, you should boost it a little bit." That was it. Okay, so I have to look very closely at this. This piece here is very tiny, has 2 sharp edges, 2 sanded edges, and the sanded edges go down. So, I mean, it won't work if I'm doing it wrong, but I think I got it right. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. My D&D group is currently still on hiatus. We are attempting to make a comeback, and I am excited about that because I have been missing having some D&D action. My Echo Knight at this point in our story has come to finally understand by attempting to fight off like having some sort of understanding and desperate pleas from the other people in my party has begun to not only understand but now come to terms with the Echo as an Echo Knight. That the Echo is he's so cool. The Echo is cool and helpful. He's like just starting to figure that out, which is fun. Premium Bandai put up some more kits, and I had to get that TriStar Zaku 2, kind of, and then that's Lashbrook saying, and then Hadel says, kind of thinking about the Zegok myself. I mean, I love a Zegok. I have not picked up anything. I did look at the Premium Bandai. I am currently not in a space to pre-order because I did make I did a pre-order not too long ago, very recently. I made the pre-order for that Barbatoris, the 4-legged Barbatos. I want to build that so bad. That was my pre-order. So, I mean, right now, I wish the regular color Zegok wasn't a P-Bandai kit. Totally. I have 4 model kits and 1 non-Gundam model kit, the Millennium Puzzle, coming. So I have 5 things coming for pre-order at this time. So I'm a little, and actually the next thing I'm about to build, I did also pre-order, which is the Deathscythe, which is the next thing we're going to be building. That was a pre-order because I really wanted it as soon as possible, and I didn't want to deal with not getting it because we built Deathscythes on the stream. I'm half tempted by the red and cloak wearing Leo, but I should probably save for now. I should get a Leo at some point. One of the modern remake Leos, one of the Bandai Leos. I didn't end up pre-ordering any of those Leos. I built the just general one, the green one that came out, like the regular old Leo. I did pre-order that, or I did buy that and build that on stream before, but I didn't buy any base Leos or anything. Real grades are basically HG size with the fidelity or quality of an MG, right? So, Mr. Hadel, yes, they are. The attempt is the introduction of real grade was an attempt to build in the 144 scale with gimmicks that you would see in some instances gimmicks that you would see in master grades, but in other instances just like some interesting things, some unusual builds, lots of detail. The very early real grades weren't perfect, and then eventually they did manage to make some that are very good. For me, I'm not generally interested in building real grades on stream because they require a very particular amount of concentration and delicacy that I'm not looking to do here on stream. High grades are small, certainly, but they're fairly simple to put together. And master grades can be difficult, but the pieces are large and the segments are large. Outside of maybe the head, you don't have incredibly tiny pieces having to connect with incredibly tiny pieces. So I generally prefer to work in master grade or high grade. The real grades certainly have their place, but I'm just not. I don't know. I've built some, and also sometimes real grades are huge, and I enjoy putting together the huge real grades. And I certainly have in the past and will again in the future build a real grade. Uh, yeah, I mean, it's probably better for off stream, honestly. I mean, I've done real grades on stream. They're just like, I don't know. Um, they can sometimes be frustrating. That's why I like working with high grades and master grades, and but um, RE100s, which are the special non grades that are basically uh, kind of like giant high grades, kind of in some ways. They are in some ways very simplistic, and in other ways they do have some complexities. But that is a very limited. The RE100s are a limited case. All right, so now we're gonna build the beam saber, which the beam saber I believe can hide in one of the arms, but we will assemble the beam saber here, which is all C parts. But that's our gun. Our gun is built. It's a very old school weapon, but also the Jesta is, you know, based on the Jengen, so it is an old school kit. Uh, but yeah, people have their feelings on various kits out there and what size. I know people who are just like, I only want to build real grades and master grades. I don't want to worry about high grades. I love a good high grade. I think a good high grade is like, the price is right. I mean, I also like building the entry grades, the new kits. The new kits have a lot going for them. They're quick builds, but they're fun builds. All right, I believe all we've got after this is the shields, and we're getting close to finishing up this thing. Boom says, so the kind of revived full mechanics things are great for you. Yeah, so I obviously, not obviously, for those that don't know, the the full mechanics line, the old full mechanics line was 100% my jam. The full mechanics were they started putting out Iron Blooded Orphans kits that were they were 1/100 scale, but they weren't really master grades. They were somewhere in between a high grade and master grade. And I always really enjoyed that. I always thought that was a neat thing. And then eventually they started calling those full mechanics. Now they're putting out new full mechanics that are not the same. I did pre-order the Calamity because I want to get to know what the new full mechanics line is. I'm getting that. When does the Calamity come out? June or July. So I'm assuming that's July. That is what I believe the last time I looked. So the new full mechanics line could be totally up our alley. The old full mechanics line I really enjoyed. Those are very fun builds. You built the here was the other thing about that full mechanics line. If you get a Iron Blood Orphan full mechanics kit, you built the whole skeleton first, and then you put all the armor on over it, and that ruled. So you wouldn't do like all of the arm, all of the arm, all the leg, and then combine it. You'd be like, okay, here's the arm skeleton, here's the inner frame of that, and maybe maybe the feet would still have some armor on it, and maybe like the hands would still have some armor on it, but everything else would just be the skeleton, including stickers, which is very weird. Stickers that you cover up. That was always odd. But it ended up being very fucking cool when you were done with it. And really unique, in my opinion. Because you could just, it was very easy to just take armor off to, either try to replicate like damage over time or battle damage or something. You could easily remove armor and it would still be structurally sound, which isn't the case with every kit out there. It was very neat. Those full mechanics are very fun to build. I'm excited for this new full mechanics and seeing how that works out. All right, so we got our gun, we got our beam saber here, nice beam, nice old beam, and then we'll get some armor here for the shield, which has a connector, which I really enjoy. I love how the shield on this kit fits on the backpack and comes around. It's not attached to the arm, or it's attached to the back of the shoulder. I can't remember. We'll get there, but it's not attached like oddly to the arm, which was always annoying. And the shield also has a little bit of gold and will have a little bit of white. The only white on this kit is on the shield. Very fun. But yeah, thanks for everybody that's here tonight. We had a very relaxed Saturday stream. And here's a tip. I'm sure some people know this. When I say relaxed, I usually mean not that busy of amount of people watching. Not that many people watching and chatting at the same time. So Saturday was pretty light, which is okay. It happens. I'm fine with that. If people got other things going on Saturday evening, that's totally cool. So I was just like, oh, it was pretty light here, but we got fine folks here tonight. Excited about that. Of course, in the second hour, I will talk about 2 shows that have ended their season. Let's Make a Mug 2 has wrapped up, and Dragon Goes House Hunting is wrapped up, so I will talk about those shows, and then I will talk about a terrible show that was produced for Netflix, like with money from Netflix, that I can only get through now 2 episodes, and I don't think I can watch any more of it. They released all of it at once, and it's bad. It's not the worst anime of the year, because that's still that there's no way that any show can come out that is going to be worse than X-Arm, because that was the worst show of the year, and I just can't imagine something is going to come out that's worse than that. I saw Let's Make a Mug 2 got a second season, so I guess that's good for it. Looking forward to watching that one soon. Weird. See, I'm not surprised that got a second season, or that's getting a second season, because it is not fully, but largely it is paid for by Tajimi City, and they must have seen a return on investment. The city that this show takes place in put up some major funds to get it made, which is why a pretty rare thing happened, which is that Crunchyroll also streams the live action, the voice actors basically touring the area and like going to sites and doing activities, which is clearly obviously a promotional thing, but it's still pretty rare to see that leave Japan. You don't usually see those on subscription services. So when that happened, I was like, oh yeah, they must have put some money up to get this made. So that doesn't surprise me. And we'll talk about the show, like my thoughts overall on it. And I will be doing a full Pat Bear's Anime Club episode live on the 30th, where I'll be talking about the previous season, because at that point the fall season or the summer season will be starting. How common are those types of co-funded anime from various cities or prefectures? Any idea? So, it's generally starts with the manga. The manga usually isn't paid for by a place, right? But when it, like, the decision to make it an anime happens sometimes. What you'll end up getting is something like, if anybody watched Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out, which was about a college girl that was teasing her quote unquote loser senpai, and it was just like a slow little love story for them. Um, that show had an episode where all of them went to the city where the person that created Detective Conan is from, and that episode was paid by that city's tourism board. It wasn't in the manga. It was an anime only episode that was just paid for to promote that place. Um, so that every few years you get the direct funding. Usually, like Saga hasn't spent any money to like they haven't co Saga didn't co-produce um Zombieland Saga or Zombieland Saga Revenge. They didn't co-produce it, but they have certainly put some money into advertising when it became a hit because it did the thing that anime sometimes does, which it got people excited about a place and a thing. Um, in this case, it was visiting Saga because the anime is about quote unquote saving Saga. So it was very obvious that people and Saga was like, "Oh, it's a show about zombie idols. That's weird." I mean, okay, we'll get behind it. Um, uh, One of the most recent paid for by a thing wasn't paid for by a city or a prefecture or anything like that, but my Setsu opening act, which was a show that I really liked, that I wish had been better, but was a show about girls who wanted to do a particular style of stand-up comedy, this very Japanese tradition stand-up comedy. Um, it was co-produced by a like the longest running Osakan theater company, and some of the acts in the show, like the real people playing character themselves, were from this agency. This agency that owns a bunch of theaters. They co-produced a show about comedy and made their main theater the place people wanted, like these performers wanted to go, which is one true. That is a place that people want to perform. But also was very like, okay, yes, and how great is your theater? How great is your comedy? Like, oh, cool. And you met this one comedian that, oh, and this famous duo showed up to inspire the girls, and they happen to be clients of yours, of course. Um, but for people who were like not well versed in that, it just looked like, oh, cool. They got some. Hey, wait, those people are real. That's cool. Also, that's fucking rules. That is like, imagine you do a very particular style of comedy, and you're well known in that world, but not well known all over Japan or anything. And then you're like, hey, guess what? You're gonna be in an anime, and you're like, well, I'm not a voice actor. And they're like, don't worry, you're playing yourself. It's an anime about how your brand of stand up is cool. And you're like, what? Yeah, this season there's going to be a four girls really into a thing anime, and the thing they're really into is your style of stand up comedy. Um, there's going to be a nice portrayal of Osakans, which does not happen. Believe me. It was kind of a wonderful culture shock when I realized all of the jokes about Osaka in Azumanga Daioh. I did not get those jokes when I first watched the show, um, because they were like, here are assumptions we have about what people are like in Osaka, uh, and you are not those things, but we're gonna call you Osaka because you are from there. That is not her name. That is where she's from. She was a transfer student and moved there. And they were like, that's your name now. And she's like, oh, that's my name? Okay. They were like, there's literally in her introduction episode, she does a Manzai thing, which is there's a thing where she slaps one of the girls like in the stomach and is just like, cut it out. And it's just like, that's a Manzai thing, which I did not get in the 90s when I saw that, or early 2000s whenever I watched all of that. was Isekai Izaki Nobu, the anime that had the old food critic to travel around visiting restaurants uh, in the live action end credits. Maybe, I can't remember. I definitely watched some of that Dirty, but I can't remember exactly if that's where that's from. Um, but yeah, so down to the live action advertisement for the anime is a Japanese thing. We obviously, y'all know this enough about Japanese voice actors that they're not just voice actors. They are in many ways idols. They are representatives of the program, and they do a whole lot to promote the shows. They do appearances, they put out albums, they sing on the albums. Um, they put out their own albums. They do television appearances, and they're a lot of times talking head shows will have them, and they'll do stuff and whatever. And like, um, their agencies have them do all kinds of stuff to promote the anime. Speaking, I talked about Zombieland Saga. The 5 voice actresses who speak in the show, because one of the the zombies, does not speak, and she starts growling, but she doesn't sing. The 5 other voice actors have gone on tour in Saga as their characters and perform the songs they sing in the show as a live performance, uh, which like we don't have here, you know? Like the cast of Adventure Time didn't go on tour. Uh they've made public appearances, but they didn't go together. The closest thing we got was um when Walk Hard came out, the biopic parody Walk Hard with John C. Riley. They did a couple shows in New York with him uh and other members of the cast as the characters, with the idea that they were going to tour the country. And then that movie did not become a hit. It didn't do well. I don't know if it tanked, but it didn't do well. So they only did a few dates in New York, and they didn't make it a tour. But they were going to do that. They were going to have him like play the character and go around. The idea wasn't necessarily to promote the movie. It was the idea that like, well, if the movie's successful, we can just do this, and that'll be cool. But it didn't work. Um, but yeah, so that is a thing. So the thing in Let's Make a Mug 2, um, which I don't know what they're gonna call the second season. I guess they're gonna call it Let's Make a Mug 3, like You and Me or something, because it already has 2 in the first one. They'll probably just call it Make a Mug exclamation point, or Let's Make a Mug Zeta, something like that. Um, pieces here. Um, well, yeah, we don't. So the idea that they have a show where the voice actors like tour the region, and we'll talk about that in the second hour, like this last episode and that part. Um, it's kind of interesting to have them interact and really like reference the anime, and also um they reference the manga, which is really interesting because they like visited a shrine that wasn't in the anime because it comes later in the manga or whatever. So that was weird. Uh the working, yes, working naming scheme. Working doesn't have season 1, 2, and 3. It has working, 1 exclamation point, working, 2 exclamation points, and working, 3 exclamation points. Also, I always say this, New Game has an exclamation point, and the season 2 of New Game is 2 exclamation points instead of New Game Plus, which is what they should have called it because it's about making video games. They should have called it New Game Plus, and they didn't. And they fucked up. But instead, they just put 2 exclamation points. Um, the second season of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid is called Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid S. Uh, and that's coming out in like a couple weeks. But yeah, sometimes they just really, I don't know. Yeah, the promotional things are, it's kind of been interesting to see a little of that because we don't get that here. Um, or like Laid Back Camp. Laid Back Camp, before the first episode came out, they had one of the voice actresses, I believe it was Nadesco's voice actress, um, went and camped. They like, she didn't stay overnight, but she went and like hung out and like at like a campground with the view of Mount Fuji and just like hung out and talked about what the show was like and doing the voice of Nadesco, and it was like very cute and it was promotional material, and for some reason Crunchyroll had that, which they don't always get those things. I mean, sometimes Funimation doesn't even show the OVAs. They don't license the OVAs for shows, like bonus episodes. Uh, and so, like, if you are somebody that is a completionist and you're like, I would really like, and not that Crunchyroll does every show, but they do a lot of them. But yeah, if you're a completionist and you're like, I would really like to see every episode of this show, you gotta turn to the dark web. I was really happy that they did that with um, the OVAs, the OADs, I should say, for um, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. It was nice having those, even if the first two aren't good. It was nice to easily have them because otherwise, it's a bummer. If you're like, I really like this show, but there's no way for me to watch it. Watch these, you know. Luckily, Kaguya-sama Love is War, the OVA for season 2, I watched through not legal means, and it's bad. But I knew it was bad. So it's okay. It's just real garbage fan service that doesn't need to be there. It's a shame. And I need F36. F F36. Here it is. We're building the thing that connects to the arm, or the back of the backpack, I should say, that connects to the shield. And then we're going to be almost body complete on this. One thing I do generally also like about this is, so we've got this like magazine here, and one of the arms you can put 2 more magazines, which is fun. Um, I think you mentioned it, but are you still watching Super Cub? How's that been? Yeah, so Super Cub finishes up on Wednesday, so I cover that on Thursdays. But I will say that's my favorite show this season. Super Cub has one scene that is very unrealistic and felt like completely out of nowhere in a way that I didn't love, and one scene that felt like I could kind of explain this away, but this seems weird. But overall, it is lovely. It is absolutely my favorite show this season. Um, it is such a cozy, wonderful show. Uh, next season there aren't any anime that is 4 girls really into a thing. The closest thing we get is there's a show where several girls like the same guy. That's so the thing they're into is a dude, which I'm probably not going to watch because it looks bad. Um, but yeah, we don't get, unfortunately, a or several girls into a thing anime next season. It doesn't look like. Uh, yeah, right. I mean, here's the thing. There are too many isekai coming out next season, and I'm gonna watch all of them. Although at least one of them, I bet, is gonna be too horny, and I won't want to keep watching it. But because the premise is great, but then I see the art, and it's all like I'm like I don't know about this. So one of these shows, and I can't remember the name of it, so you'll have to forgive me. There's an isekai where a guy gets, basically, instead of like dead and reincarnated, he gets sold by his parents to a goddess in another world to be like a hero, and he's like, "What?" And he shows up, and then the goddess is like, "You're too ugly to be a hero. Get out of here." And he just gets banished to like the monster realm, and so he becomes like a champion of monsters because the monsters accept him. And like that sounds very fun, but also it seems like all of the monsters that like are part of his party and hanging out with him are all very attractive and into him. And I'm like, this could go poorly. I mean, look, is that a trope of modern isekai? Certainly. But does it have to be? No, doesn't have to be. So I'm hoping that turns actually to be good. I don't know if it will be, but I am hoping that it actually ends up being pretty cool. I do like the premise of like you've been isekai'd, and also people are very the goddess rejects you. She's like, wait, now get the guy out of here. But there's I mean there are a ton of isekai coming out next season. There's that one. There's the one I'm most hyped about, which is about a guy who is isekai'd, and he is a realist, and he is like, yeah, I can't, I'm not strong. I can't save you from an army, but I can take a look at like focusing on this country and like securing wealth for us and stability, and so that like you can't get pushed around. And they're like, okay, become our king. So he becomes king. He's like the realist hero or something. Or a realist rebuilt the country or something like that. And I'm like, that sounds pretty fun. Um, there is the Isekai that I did not enjoy the first season of. Can't honestly. They announced a second season was coming before the first season ended. I'm Standing on a Million Lives is the name of it. I respect the show because they continue to do a thing that is not fun to watch, but interesting that it exists, whereas the main character is an irredeemable, awful person, and he refuses to learn and grow and change. He is presented with opportunities to do so, and he fully rejects every chance. He has brief moments of maybe clarity that he immediately suppresses, and I do respect that. It doesn't mean that I like the show, but I made a prediction about that show last season, or when it aired, that I would like to see come true, because I believe the creature that is the extra dimensional creature that is pushing all of these characters to do this, that is from the future, is actually him. And it's him in the future, or from the future, attempting to have himself in the past grow and change, because he knows he can't. If he just told him, hey, you're an idiot and awful, you wouldn't. He knows himself enough to know that that wouldn't change him, so he's trying to change him via experience. That's my guess. uh and I don't think that's necessarily true, but that is my guess about that. I'm kind of want to know if that's what that show is. Let's see. There's definitely other, at least. Oh, there's the Pharmacist Isekai, which is if you're looking for your like by the grace of the gods, or I've been killing slimes for 300 years and max my level style of like cozy Isekai. There's a guy that is Isekai, and turns out that he is very good at making medicines. So he opens a pharmacy, and he's trying to like heal people and do well for that. And that seems to be a pretty cozy isekai that I was like, okay, that sounds good. And then there's also, like I said, there's a lot of isekais coming up. I read some of that manga. It was neat. Yeah, Brozard, hello. That does sound neat, and I am interested in that. I think the idea is really cool. And then the only other one is, actually fascinating idea. So reincarnation usually is one of two things. It is you remember from birth, or you're physically transported and you don't get reborn, you just get transported, or you at a certain age you regain your memories of your previous life in another world while you're in this world. And there's one show coming up, and I can't remember the name of it, so I apologize, where at a certain like age 7, this guy realizes also inside of me is someone who's been reborn, but both personalities persist and merge together and work together instead of a takeover. Which I think is an interesting twist, but it's also still very much the same of like this kid, say, because of he now remembers his previous life, manages to save someone, and then as a reward he gets to go to like some sort of elite school. But I can't remember like any other specifics about it. All right, so this shield, here's the thing I love about this shield. You can, whoops, oh no, this thing does pop off wrong, which I don't like, but you can, I'm going to move it here, try to do it. You can, yes, you can twist it like that. So the shield is still attached, even though it's, and then you can put the arm through it, but I'm not going to worry about that part. because we're just going to take a photo and then we're going to move on. But this is the Jesta, yeah. So there's a lot of Isekai next season. And also Iramakun, Welcome to Demon School Iramakun is continuing. So that is a continuation Isekai. And I might have missed another one. Black Company. There's also Black Company. Like I said, there's a lot of Isekai next season. Black Company is coming out. That's a lazy layabout, whatever dude gets isekai'd, but he gets isekai'd into basically slave labor and has to work his way up. And that one could be interesting, but also could be bad. So I don't know. But this is the Jesta. We completed the Jesta. It's done. It's built. We did it, y'all. It was a very satisfying build, old school kit that I very much enjoyed. I'm going to take a photo of it, and then we're going to switch over and get ready for the 2021 Deathscythe, which I'm very excited about building. And we'll do that for a little bit, and then I'll take a pause for the cause. Then I will talk about anime that came out in the past couple of days instead of anime that's coming out. Let me get a good photo of this Jesta. Great, good photo of this Jesta. Again, get another, just got a good photo of that Jesta. Great. All right, and now we can put this aside, and we are going to move on. I did not watch Hell in a Cell last night. If you are for our wrestling fans, I did read the results today, and I am very glad that I did not increase my because I have the free version of like I don't pay anything for Peacock, but you have to pay the monthly thing to get WWE, and I don't do that. So, and I'm glad I don't do that because that sounded like some good matches, but not great. Like I'm gonna watch I'm gonna watch Xavier Woods versus Bobby Lashley in Hell in a Cell, which is tonight because they keep the cell. That I'm gonna watch because that sounds incredible and awesome. But like, I didn't watch any of the matches from yesterday, and I'm glad I didn't spend the money to get the Peacock to do it because it. Let me just tell you that many of those matches, two of those matches ended up with roll ups. One where the disqualification. Yeah, two roll ups. The main of Hell in the Cell ended up with a roll up from behind roll up. That is sad. Hell in a Cell used to mean something, folks, and it doesn't right now. Oh, anyway, we got to go to our Deathscythe. It's the Deathscythe. This is the Deathscythe from 2021. This is a new kit. This is along the same lines as the 2020 Heavy Arms. They are slowly doing new molds for this. I mean, it's very similar to old molds, but all new pieces, all new 2021 labeled, other than the polycaps, which I don't know what year this came out in, but polycaps are polycaps. They're very similar. Yeah, that's about the general vibe I got coming out regarding the Hell in a Cell match. But yeah, that's just overall, like, a wrestler has mind control powers now, or has for a while. Just like a lot of stuff where I was like, I'm glad I didn't spend money on this. This sounds like a bad thing. But anyway, this is the Deathscythe. This is 2021 Deathscythe. I'm very excited to work on this. As many of you know, on this stream, we build Deathscythes. I mean, that's why one of my emotes is a Deathscythe. It's me as a Deathscythe, because this is the first Gundam I fell in love with. 100% really love this kit. Any incarnation of it, I have built this many times. Polycats, much like candy corn, were all created in 1973 and have been recirculating ever since. Yeah, they, those connectors know what's going on. But also, these connectors were all going to be used on everything. Like, this is the same exact one that came with the heavy arms, because the Gundam Wing kits, there's armor is different, and some of the arms are a little different here and there in the connectors and stuff, but the core of it, once you build one, you build all of them. I joke around a lot that let's see, I need DC2 and E1. I've joked around quite a bit that I could build a Deathscythe with my eyes closed, and it's, I don't think I could necessarily, but I could definitely give it a good try. I'll get very close. Um, but yeah, I've built quite a few of these over the years. But yeah, the structure of it, the head's gonna be different, but like, the chest is gonna look a little different, but it's still gonna be the same. A lot of the same components. The legs of all of those kits are very similar until you get like the Deathscythe Hell. Is definitely different from other Deathscythe or from other kits, but like a lot of these legs are very similar, which makes things easier for Bandai more than anyone else. Um, oh, also, before we get into the pause of the cause, I did try to watch some of Scarlet Nexus, which is an anime that Funimation put a preview. They put like the first episode up uh, on their YouTube, and it's so here's an interesting about that. Um, it came out in there's an anime and a video game. Is it an anime based on a video game? No. Is it a video game based on the anime? No. It's both. It's an anime and a video game that are coming out at the same time, that were written and created at the same time with like the same script. So it is a cross media presentation of a very generic, boring ass idea for an anime. So Lord Crashington, yes, it is based on the game, but the game hasn't come out. The game is coming out in time with the anime. It was created at the same time. So they can promote off one another. So it's not like one of these um Seven Knights Revolution, which is based on a free-to-play MMO that started in Asia. It's not that. They're like, no, we're making a video game and an anime at the same time, and like the the characters from the video game are the characters in the anime, and they tell the same story. Yeah, I'm sure the demo seems fine because it's probably just action with like lots of like combos, because it's a little it's like syncing your mind, your psychic syncing their minds so that they can be stronger by working with each other. But at the heart of it, it is the others came, and so the others defense force has to stop the others. They got to stop the others because the others came, and they fell from the sky, and the others like destroyed humanity, and so now these humans who and a guy, his parents or guardians or something, they lost their lives protecting people, so he's going to join this corps and grow up, and then of course the best person in his class is hoity about it, but they'll fall in love because they're gonna be they're gonna work well together. Like, I'm already telling you that they fall in love. I don't know that, but I know that, and it just seems very basic. But Xbox put money into it, so that's fun. Xbox sponsored the Funimation like summer preview thing because of Scarlet Nexus. Okay. I'm sure the demo's fine. He was just like, okay, sure. Just didn't seem. That seems like an anime that if it comes out on a Sunday or a Monday, which always seems to be the days where I don't have enough anime to talk about on streams, um, that'll be something like I'll watch. But if it's a Friday or Saturday, or like, forget it, because those always I end up like saying nope. I drop a lot of stuff, or something like, which is weird. Ain't Funimation owned by Sony? Yeah. So Boom Cannon, the thing you gotta remember is that Sony isn't doesn't care about parts of Sony don't care about other parts of Sony. They just don't. Sony TV department doesn't care what the video games are doing. The video games don't care about Funimation. They don't care about each other. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to them at all. It never has, and it never will. Yeah, Sony lets Funimation run their business. The only thing they did was they didn't want Funimation to partner with Crunchyroll when they bought them. That's why the partnership dissolved between Crunchyroll and Funimation. But that's it. That's the only real thing. It it's like Sony doesn't care about other parts of Sony. Like Sony Pictures doesn't care about video games. That's why you don't always it doesn't. You're not going to guarantee that like a Sony video game like franchise is going to be put out by Sony Pictures because they don't care about the video game department. What do they care about that? Um, like yeah, that is the thing where like Microsoft very much cares about the Xbox, but also like not as much as you think. It's just how it is. All right, so let's see. So yeah, so to them it's just like, okay, what's happening? What's going on with the internet? Okay. Kind of like CBS and Giant Bomb. Yeah, I mean like there are plenty of people in CBS Interactive who never knew what game forget Giant Bomb, GameStop or GameSpot, I should say, not stop. I did it again. GameSpot. There are plenty of people in CBS Interactive that don't know they never knew they at any point that that was a property that existed. That they, like why would they care about that? You know? There are plenty of people in the if you're not in the game group, why would you care about that? Nothing to do with you. Uh because they're not like big things don't talk to each other. Sometimes they do, sometimes they're synergistic. Yeah. But yeah, I mean like, yeah, sometimes they're synergistic, sometimes there's like somebody who's out there trying to make deals and make like Warner really does care about like DC stuff in their video game. Like they would like to have their video game acquisitions work on like stuff from DC. They care about that. They're one of the only big company. And also, there's lots of rumors of selling and all kinds of stuff, and I don't need to get into that because I don't know anything about the rumors. But like, they're like one of the only companies I can think of that actually cares about being synergistic with their own properties. Um, but yeah, like I can't really think of anybody else that actually cares as much as Warner does about like, yeah. So it's just like, yeah. So Scarlet Nexus is going to come out. That's how the deal that got made to make that game possible. Sony is not thinking about that video game. They don't care. They don't mind that Funimation is going to have it. Whatever. No skin off their nose. It'll come out. It'll be what appears to be a fairly fine video game and a really run of the mill anime. And there'll be people that like it because apparently there were people that really liked Seven Knights Revolution, which I just thought was, oh man, Seven Knights Revolution. It was a kind of like the design, art design was cool. I thought that was really neat, but every other part of that thing was just a slog. Uh, Character development, like they had to do the thing. They had to do the thing where the main character had no personality, and I was like, either he is um doesn't remember any of his past and he's hiding the fact that he has amnesia, or he's lying about who he is and is some sort of magical creature. Turns out the spoilers for Seven Knights Revolution, Nemo is Nemo is an artificial human. He was not really human the whole time, and he was living a lie, which is why he didn't understand things like the concept of love. Like he didn't know what that meant because he hadn't been raised to know what it meant. And why he had, he was like, oh, everyone died, but he didn't remember, like he never thought or talked about his family or anything. And it was like, what's going on with this dude? Oh, cool. And a character that is clearly sinister and clearly the villain, that was the villain in the show. Yeah, she's like she should know things and then actively acts like she doesn't know things. Yeah, she's the fucking villain. Also, every character, um, there's a lot of characters that almost die but don't die, except for the one that needed to die to further along the plot and make one guy feel bad. They had to kill a female character to make a dude feel bad. But don't worry, even though he looks like he died, he didn't die. Don't worry. Ugh, that show was bad. I eventually marathoned it because I really wanted to know, but that was a bad time. All right. I'm gonna panel line the mouth on our Deathscythe before I put the sticker on. We'll do the sticker after the pause for the cause, but we gotta do a pause for the cause first. Gotta do a pause for the cause first. Gotta pay these bills. Folks, if you're new to the stream, if you don't know what the pause for the cause is, I'm going to talk to you all for a couple minutes about ways you can support the channel. You are under no obligation to do so. But feel free to come and support if you can. I'll talk, like I said, I'm going to talk about ways you can do so. And if you are able or interested, you're more than welcome to support me. If you're currently a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote in the chat. Let the people know that you subscribe to the channel. That will be great. I really appreciate it. You can use Cash Money. You can use your Prime Gaming token if you have Amazon Prime linked with your Twitch. You can use that. If you're not using that token with me, please use it for someone, because somebody out there could use that quote unquote free money. If you've been gifted a sub, you can convert that to a regular subscription. If you would like to gift a sub to someone in the community, hey, this hurts my head, welcome. You can do so. Give the gift of a subscription to somebody so they get cool emotes and they don't see ads when the stream starts, or when they join the stream, I should say. Those are various things you can do with the old Cash Money there if you would like to. Again, you don't have to do any of that, but it would be cool if you did. And I do have a Patreon, I should say. Patreon.com/PatBear is how you join that. $1, $3, $5, and $10 tiers free. Please consider doing that. There are different rewards for each tier. I'm trying to get back to $150. I'm very close to doing it. So if you'd like to do that, you're more than welcome to join me over there. Let's see. I have a YouTube, and of course, joining my YouTube would be free to subscribe, because subscriptions are free there. Would love if you did that. But if you wanted to, you could join my YouTube, youtube.com/PatBear. And that's a membership. That's $2 a month. And also, if you're watching this later after the fact, what's up, YouTube? You can find all this in the show description below. If you're watching the VODs, what's up, VODers? You can find all of this in the chat. If you open up the chat, you can see all of these links that I'm putting here. Direct donations also goes into a fund where I buy model kits with that money. This kit, the Deathscythe, was purchased with money out of that fund. I pre-ordered it. And anything I make through direct donations, YouTube memberships, Patreon, and through here on the lovely Twitch affiliate program, goes into buying model kits and equipment. Like, the funds from that will be the boom arm I plan on getting for this mic so that I can station it somewhere, so I'm just talking towards the webcam and getting picked up by the microphone, so I don't have to have it here. I'm going to be looking for a solution to do that. But that's the next thing. And that will come from those funds. And the Jesta, which I just finished building, that came from money from a Google AdSense payout. I bought that. Now, I mentioned it earlier. My birthday's coming up. It's on Wednesday. I'm going to have a stream. You can come to that. If you want to get me something for my birthday, you could buy me something from my Amazon wish list. That's something you could do. I got a bunch of stuff on there. I will shoot a video about the thing that you have purchased, and then it'll jump the queue. I've got 4 high grades and a master grade and a Lego set in my backlog right now, and another kit. No, a kit came today. That's right. I would be happy to build anything from that, but I would rather wait on those and instead build something that you bought from my wish list. I got Lego sets. I've got high grades. There have been some sales on a few things. Some things have dropped in price. A couple things went up in price, because that happens. But yeah, if you buy something from that, it jumps the queue. I will shoot a video about the cool thing that you have purchased. I got one piece of technology at the bottom of that page because it's nice to have some gear. Um, but yeah, you buy something for that. Like I said, an alternative to my Amazon wish list, if you would like to help me out but don't want to do that, is you could buy a gift card at USA Gundam Store. You buy the card, they send you an email with the code. Then you could DM me on Twitter because my DMs are open with that code, and then I will buy the thing. Something cool. We are going to get back to building in just a moment, folks. If you're like, what happened to the model kit building? I just have to talk about ways you can support me, unfortunately. Um, Gotta get through this, my ad reads, then we'll get back to building. If you want to support me for free, I got a Discord. I post build photos at the end of a stream. People post stuff they're working on. It's very cool. You can join my Discord there. I would appreciate that. And let's see, what else do I want to say? A couple videos. I got a new Pat Bear's Anime Club that came out today. Pat Bear's Anime Club is my every other Monday video series where I talk about an anime topic that I wanted to discuss. This episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club is about queer anime. It's my part 2. I did a part 1 last Pride. This is the part 2, and in this one, or maybe it was 2 prides ago, I can't remember, but in this one, I talk about some representation that is not a gay or lesbian relationship. Shows that focus on or have a main character in a different part of the queer spectrum. We look at a different letter in the queer alphabet. And I think it turned out good. It's one of my favorites that I've done in a while. So consider checking that out. And then if you want to see a football player performing the Halo theme and me absolutely loving it, you can watch this the Bear With Me, last week's Bear With Me. I have a new one up on Wednesday, but this was the last one last week's, and was very fun. It was one of my favorites. One of my favorite Bear With Me. I was just like completely impressed and surprised with that one. But we're going to talk about some anime that came out in the last couple of days. I'm going to drink some water. We're going to get back to model kit building. So let's do that. Drink some water. Oops, I got to focus there. Still out of focus. Okay. What's nice about not having the headset microphone is I don't have to move the mic to drink water. I just have to move away from the microphone. So that's nice. I like that. Um, let's go back to the Deathscythe, not the Deathscythe. And then I'm going to talk about some anime that came out in the past couple days, or 2 days. My Hero Academia, I did not watch the most recent episode. Well, I saw a clip of it, which featured very fun. But yeah, I'm waiting on that because I'm trying to wrap up some other stuff. So I'm going to get caught up on that later. I don't honestly like watching that show week to week. I don't like watching it in chunks. I'm going to do that. So we do have to put the eye sticker on here. I'm actually going to do the face first before we put the eye sticker on because it makes my life a little easier as a guide. But we got to get the eye sticker on here. There's not many stickers on this high grade, which is great. There's the eyes. There are the front and back camera stickers, and then the crotch sticker. So let's talk about. Oops. Let's get this back on and not cut ourselves. And let's talk about the last episode of Dragon Goes House Hunting. This is a show about Letty, the timid dragon, and who was kicked out of his home and is looking for a new place. He met Daria, who is formerly or currently known as the Demon Lord, mostly just the name only. He is a very intelligent elf that runs he does construction and also looking for rentals and property and purchasing property. But he helps creatures find places to live, and his client right now is Letty, and they are traveling. There's also Pip, who is a little bird that considers Letty to be his papa. Lovely little bird. And also, they were recently, like very recently, a couple episodes ago, joined by Nell, who is a princess who ran away from home because her father ate a cupcake and did not apologize and didn't know why she was upset. So she ran away, and she's been hanging out with them. Let's see. And then They accidentally ended up inside the castle that she is from. Uh, Letty has a bad reputation as a terrible dragon. He is the Dark Flame Lord, which is just a bunch of misunderstandings. But anyway, the assumption would be that even though the princess was already missing for a while, that he was trying to kidnap the princess and take over the castle. Like maybe he kidnapped her before and then came back with her. Anyway, it's bad. They're in a bad situation and they can't teleport away. Um, so Daria is like, well, let's use the defenses here in the castle on them. So they try to use the defenses. Hey, and they're like, Nell, you should just like, I don't know, go back to them. She's like, well, I never abandoned my friends, which is the first time she's referred to them as friends, which is, nice. And um, they get some gnomes to throw stones and like kind of keep the soldiers at bay, but then it takes so long that the gnomes have to go home because they're working a day shift and they're not going to work overtime. Um, let's see. Letty comes up with a plan to separate the king from his army because they hope that they can, if the king is separated, they can reunite them. They make up. Daria explains the situation to the king, and I'm going to say this: the king is very understanding. I imagine she has run away from home before, and he's just like, "Thanks so much for protecting her." And okay, this is great. And wait, aren't you the demon lord? Okay. Um, Nell and Letty say their goodbyes, and like I said, they've only been traveling together for a little while, but they've come to appreciate each other. So they say their goodbyes. She gives him half a fairy stone, saying they'll find each other again someday. And then everyone escapes with some magic, fairy magic. They fly, and Letty, the dragon, flies for the first time. And over the credits, we see shots of a lot of the minor characters from the show, um, and also Letty maybe kind of for the first time thinks maybe my father kicked me out so that I would grow as a person or as a dragon. Um, Starting to realize like maybe this was to help me. Um, and yeah, it's so this show is over. It was lovely. I kind of wish Nell had been included earlier on in the show because it did dramatically change the vibe in a way that I liked. I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I wanted more house hunting. For a show called Dragon Goes House Hunting, there are a bunch of episodes where it's just like job hunting and a two-part flashback about Daria, I should say, and it's just like, okay, okay, okay. I don't know. I do think it's cute. If you are looking for a fun, light show, which really cares about its characters, like the animation, the quality of the animation is really great, and the detail is very much there. Like this is a show that loves every character that's in it. Characters that are in one episode, characters that are in multi parts are reoccurring. That you'd be surprised are reoccurring. Like this show is a lot of attention to detail, and I think it's really fun. So if you're looking for something light that is low fantasy, I would recommend it. But yeah, it's not a perfect show by any means. It reminded me a lot of uh last season's show that I liked but also like forgot that I had stopped watching. I was like, "Oh wait, I got to get caught up on this." Heaven's Design Team, where like and eventually you're like, "Yeah, I get it. Like this is good." But yeah, I mean, I get it. Um that was kind of a similar vibe for me. I still really liked it. I still recommend it, but it's not like I'm not saying after this stream go watch Dragon Ghost House Hunting. Like make sure you check it out. But it's good. Let's Make a Mug 2. We were talking about this earlier. That show concluded today. We started with this show has been building. It's about young lady Himino who is she moves to a town that her father and mother uh grew up in, and that's when they met each other and fell in love. Her mother has passed on, and she ends up joining the ceramics club, much like her mother did. And so, throughout the course of it, she decides, I'm going to enter this contest, this yearly contest, in the student category. I'm going to see what's up with that. And So a lot of it is her like trying to figure out what she's gonna do, and try to get like better and get her skills to improve so she can go and compete. She has competed. She made this like ceramic cushion that is a beautiful looking color and is really fun and cute. Um, and so she submitted that, and the judges are now gathered for the final votes. And there are, hey, welcome Ironhide, talking about some anime, working on a Deathscythe. You know, honestly, for me, the usual. Um, uh, so yeah, the judges are looking at it, and there are 15 like awards. There's 25 total awards, and 15 are like honorable mention, and then like some like important categories. And that feels like a lot, but whatever. Um, and the judges liked Mika's piece very much because they liked the playfulness. They thought the Toko's skill was impressive. One thing about Himeno's piece that I didn't notice up until they started judging it was that it's called "It's a Cushion." Like the title of the piece is a description of what it is, which I just thought was kind of cute. Um, let's see. But oh, it turns out one of the guys who's judging, who used to, up until he got too busy with government work, he used to be in charge of the ceramics club. He was a teacher and in charge of the ceramics club. And it turns out he knew um, uh, Himeno's mom because the color of the piece is very similar to colors that she used. Uh, So he's just like, wait, that's just very reminiscent. Anyway, um, Mika wins an award for artistic excellence. Uh, Toko wins an award for overall excellence, but it wasn't best in show, which is apparently what she was aiming for. But I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I don't feel like we ever learned that she was aiming for number one, because we only learned in episode 11 that her like family is famous and her like grandfather is well known in the field of ceramics. Like I feel like so I was like, oh, did she want to win best in show? I had no idea. That was news to me. Um, okay, so we're doing shoulders and we're doing two at a time on our high grade. We just switched from a master grade to a high grade, and I have to recalibrate my like thinking and my fingers. Like I'm just like, oh yeah, these are gonna be smaller. Duh. Um, let's see. Uh, Himeno doesn't win any awards, and like she wasn't necessarily expecting. She's new to this. She just started doing it this year, but turns out she did feel it, and she puts on a brave face, but she's feeling bad. She was thought maybe she might get something. I mean, the real reward for her would be that her dad likes it because her dad like kind of liked the mug that she made, but she could tell was just like being nice, and she really wanted to wow him. Um, uh, a week later, they get their pieces back. The woman who was giving out the awards happens to be show up at the cafe her dad runs. Is an odd coincidence. And she's like, "Oh, hey, I know you. I really liked your piece. It made me want to go sit on it." Uh, and she's like, "Well, you can." And they go to where the cushion is, and her dad is just about to sit on it. And he does, and it fucking breaks because it's a ceramic and wasn't properly designed to hold someone's weight. But he apologized. Like, I did not see that coming. I did not expect it to break, like immediately break. But he clearly apologizes, and he was just like, it just, as soon as I saw it, I wanted to sit on it. And that's like, to her, that's all that matters, even though it was busted. Uh, and even though it's happy that someone wanted it. And then there's like, so because this is after that, they announced there's going to be a season 2. They don't announce that in the anime, but um, they do like shots of like various characters together and people working on stuff. And there's a shot of a girl we haven't met before who has a bunch of photos of Toko on her wall and is like mad at her. So that's like someone that considers her rival, I guess, but was not introduced in the show. And I was like, that's fucking weird to introduce this other character, but that's because they're going to do a season 2. But it's still weird because they didn't like say see you in season 2. They're just like, hey, guess what? Here's something that could happen in the show maybe someday. That just felt very weird. Um, but yeah, the live action portion of the show uh, is the voice actors have been doing various activities in and around the area of the city. And they made curry the previous episode, and now they're like eating the curry and hanging out and reminiscing. They're using the plate that they made. They're drinking out of the bowls that they made, and then they're eventually they get the tiles that they had put together, and they all talk about their favorite memories from from like touring around and hanging out. Um, the whole thing obviously is a big advertisement for the area, for the city, because it's paid for. So they really try to sell you on, hey, you want to check this out. Um, they give the hard sell. So overall, my thoughts on the show. Um, Not enough about mugs. My honest, genuine response is to let's make a mug 2 is not enough actual ceramics. A lot of episodes were about the girls and running around and like doing other activities, and I was just like, kind of wish this was more about how cool ceramics are. And this sounds awful. Maybe it could have been less about this girl trying to live up to expectations she has about her mother who passed away. I don't know. Like, there's a girl in the show whose whole deal is she's not interested in making anything. She just really likes the main character and like is just hanging out. And I'm like, what the fuck is her deal? Is she in love with her? Is it, like, what's going on? Why did she hang out in this crew, but she isn't doing any ceramics? What's up? So I don't know what her goddamn deal was. But overall, I loved the live action portion. I think that was really fun. I would love to see more of that in anime or in subtitled stuff that you see on streaming services. I think that is just a cool thing. Um, and yeah, like I said, I would love to see more of that. Because overall, I thought it was cute. Look, I am a sucker for several girls interested in a thing anime. We got 2 this season between Super Cub and Let's Make a Mug 2. So I'm very grateful to have that. For last season, we had Laid Back Camp Season 2, which was great. As I said, next season, there is no several girls interested in a thing anime, which is a shame. You know, that's a bummer. So hopefully we'll get that in the fall. I'm a big fan of those styles of anime. Uh, let's see. If you want to watch a terrible anime, then you could watch Record of Ragnarok, which is on Netflix. Netflix is a Netflix exclusive. They helped produce it, I guess, and paid for it. Uh, this season, they also did Way of the House Husband, and then they did Record of Ragnarok. Record of Ragnarok is a bunch of gods of various gods and forces are like kind of sick of the earth and humans. We should create Ragnarok and just wipe them out and start over again. And then a deity who is like, wait, are y'all scared of humans? Why not face them in combat? Let them decide or whatever, like via combat. So it is several of time's strongest warriors in one-on-one confrontations with gods of various, realms. Um, like a gladiatorial combat. It is bad. It's a bad anime. Yo, it's a very bad anime. So what does this show have? Lots of character frozen in place and motion lines like a bad motion comic flying by them, and maybe a little bit of movement. Um, Lots of that. Lots of like action and then pauses in the action and a long pause. Lots of character close-ups of characters so you don't have to do the background describing things. Uh, um, it is over the top. The voice actors are trying their best. I have heard some people say the source material is good and this interpretation is bad. I have had other people saying that the source material is terrible and that this is, they are doing their best, but it's also every part of it is bad. I have heard so many conflicting things about this show. But I can tell you the 2 episodes I watched are awful. There are 3 fights that take place in 12 episodes. So if you're there looking for like just constant action, this is not it. If you are looking for pathos, this is not it. If you are looking for motion blur and then maybe this is for you. A lot of motion blur and like I said, lots of like close-ups of characters. Okay, I'll say this. If you're looking for a cool representation of Lu Bu, if you are a big Lu Bu man and you are like or person, you're a big fan of Lu Bu, then maybe you can watch 1 episode of this and you'd be psyched to see Lu Bu in there. Because guess what? Lu Bu is in there. And which is admittedly pretty fucking cool that they got Lu Bu in there. But yeah, it's just like we got this person from history, and literally the Adam fights Zeus. Is Zeus a dirty old man? Sure. Is Adam naked except for a like a fig leaf? Of course he is. It's Adam versus Zeus, and Jack the Ripper is going to be there, and Lu Bu is there, and some Japanese samurai that I don't remember the name of is going to be there against a Poseidon, and it's, oh boy. Is the anime banned in India because of its because there is an Indian god in it, and they are mad about that? Of course. But anyway, so Record of Ragnarok, in my opinion, isn't you should watch the first episode bad. It is you should not watch this bad. Because, like I said, everyone should watch the first episode of X-Arm because X-Arm is unbelievably terrible. And it was very fun to watch an episode of it and to be like, holy shit, they made this anime. And again, the other anime, Majin Lubu. No, Harold, not Majin Lubu. Also, hi, Harold. Um, they're like what? Netflix has 4 anime this year, right? Way of the House Husband, I did not enjoy, but I know some people that did, and that's cool that they liked it. Oh, Harold wants me to ring the bell. I'm going to ring the bell. This is the first time I've rang the bell with my new microphone. Honestly, let me know how this sounds. I don't know because of the gate if that's going to be too loud or not, or if that sounded great. Lord Crashton also wants you to ring the bell, and I'll ring the bell. I feel like that's really loud. Now, part of that is because I'm not wearing my headphones, so I've never heard it so clearly before. It's fine. Well, good. I'm glad it wasn't too much. Like I said, I did work on a noise gate. Well, now Dirty wants me to ring the bell, so I'm going to ring the bell. Here we go. I have rang the bell. Yeah, oh yeah, I think I locked in the noise gate pretty well, so we shouldn't hear too much background noise. Actually, should be better than. Yeah, it seems to be better than when I had my headset mic because my headset mic still picked up a little bit of the fans in the background on my computer, my lap or my desktop. So, all right, we finished the shoulders here. And now we can start on the right arm. We're going to build all the right arm and then all of the left arm, it looks like. So we'll get a little of that done. He's going to ring the bell, indeed. But yeah, Record of Ragnarok. So let's see. Godzilla, I have not watched. Singular Point, I've heard very good things about Godzilla Singular Point. I have not watched it. But like I said, people seem to really like it. I didn't like Way of the Husband, and then um, Yashire, I forget the name of it. I didn't watch all of it about the based on a true story, but based on a real person, but not based on the story of a of an African samurai. Um, that, you know, obviously like not a real story of his life, but playing with a real character, a real person as a character. I heard very mixed things about that. I liked what I watched of it, but also didn't finish it. So that might be an indication of my feelings on it. I didn't finish it. But and then also Record of Ragnarok, which they released all the episodes at once instead of making it weekly. So maybe that's an indication of the quality of said show. They just dumped it out there with very little fanfare. Because people were like, how come I didn't see any promotion? There's like no promotion in Japan for the show. There's no promotion anywhere. I'm like, well, maybe it's bad. Like, yeah, no one's talking about the show. I'm like, yeah, that's generally a bad sign when no one's talking about it. The people that made it aren't talking about how good it is. It's probably because it's not. And then, yeah, 2 episodes in, that ain't good. That's not a good show. In fact, it's a bad show that I don't enjoy. And I'm not going to keep watching it because it's a slog. Uh Come on. Somebody sent me a message about like I was saying this is a thing I wanted to know. And maybe y'all know this. Are there any um restoration YouTube channels, you know, people that restore tools and, you know, whatever, and do all the cleaning, and some of them are ASMR and some of them are voiceovers. Um, are there any ones that focus on or have segments where they just um, make fun of or complain about other people that do the work, that do restorations? Because not all restoration channels are created equal, and it is my opinion that some people that are doing these things are bad. That all they seem to do is sandblast things and then replace, like, hey, I'm going to restore this axe. Well, first thing I got to do is get rid of all this. Whoops, sorry, I hit the mic. First thing I got to do is get rid of all this wood. Who needs all this old wood on here? Let's get rid of this wood and we'll get some new wood on there. And then we're going to sandblast this thing, and then we're going to put it in this, dip it in here, and then we're done. Booyah, restored. Because yeah, some they don't seem to be all created equal, and like I said, some of them seem to be honestly bad at it. So I was hoping that there was like, is there a talking smack channel, talking mess channel, and then people were like, here's a good one, and I was like, I didn't ask for that. I didn't ask for, here is a channel that I think does a good job of restorations. Like, I can find those. I'm saying, is there a, like, look at this look at this poor performance this person did, or hey, I'm going to tell you the right way to do this, and I'm not going to name names, but you can figure it out. And apparently there aren't that. But anyway, I don't enjoy the ASMR restoration videos. I much prefer the voiceover or cutting to a real person. I'm much more invested in that. Well, it's also because I don't get the crinkle tingles. I don't, ASMR doesn't work for me. I don't need, or like, because there's the ASMR ones, and then there's the just like, here's whatever music I can play in the YouTube library that won't get me in trouble, and just like, because if I wanted that, I would just click to the end process and see like the results. I want to like hear about it. I want like facts and like people talking about like, well, I tried doing this and that didn't work. Like, I don't necessarily love him as a person, but Aging Wheels is a YouTube channel I enjoy because it's a dude who buys weird electric and other small odd cars and tries to fix them and fucks up a lot and talks about fucking up a lot. And I like that. I like that he is just trying his best, and sometimes he messes up and he talks about, like, here's what I learned from doing this wrong. And I like that. Hi, I love seeing another model builder on Twitch. Oh, welcome. Okay, Retro Zone. Yeah. We just tonight we just finished up the Jesta Master Grade from 2013, and we were working on the 2011 Deathscythe. I love building Deathscythes on the stream, so when I heard there was going to be a new one, I had pre-ordered it, and then yes, I am going to eventually get, because it's not coming out to the end of the year anyway. I will get the thing that is like an opposite world, Deathscythe Hell, the Life Lance Heaven. I will get that. I have not pre-ordered it. I'm gonna get it because it's basically, yeah, it's the inverse Deathscythe, and that is a very fun idea. So I definitely want to build that at some point. But yeah, welcome. Yeah. But yeah, I love Deathscythe. So it was the first Gundam I fell in love with, and I always try to build those. And I've built every Deathscythe. Then I built the Love Phantom, which was the I think Build Fighters, I want to say, that was like heavily inspired by the Deathscythe. I built that. So eventually I'll get that other one when it comes out, or I'll pre-order at some point, I'm sure. Oops, I put this on wrong. Speaking of liking aging wheels, because he admits when he screws up, I screwed up because I put that on wrong. And boom, there we go. There's our arm. Lots of bend on this, which is good because you got to hold that scythe, single scythe. Oh, I haven't even looked at this. We didn't even talk about this. We got into building. This is not my favorite of the clear greens. I like my clear greens a little darker than this, I'll say. Um, but it's still really nice. I love that they have the a shorter and longer blade. I think that's very fun. And also the blade that comes out of the drone is very cool. The shield drone. But I would prefer this a little darker. That's my opinion. A little darker green. I just started a Wing Gundam Zero, but Deathscythe is the first Gundam love. Yes. Oh yeah. I mean, it was. I had seen some Gundam before that, but Gundam Wing was like the first Gundam series that I watched. Like, oh, I'm always going to be watching this. This is right up my alley and what I want to be checking out here. Is when I really got into, and that was the first Gundam that I was like, oh, this thing is cool. Is it? The Deathscythe. Very cool. I mean, look, I was a teenager. The Deathscythe is very cool. Duo Maxwell wears he wears like a priest vestment. Like, what? And he's got, it's got a big scythe. Like, okay. Too bad Wing is a hard rewatch. So boom, Wing is not the easiest rewatch in the world. Certainly, I think that the parts that were at the time very interesting, the fact that it was really going for shonen, with a little shoujo thrown in there, I think at the time was like, oh, look at these Gundam pilots without Gundams in school. This is interesting. Like, yeah, they're still child soldiers, but they're like, trying to figure this thing out. Like, that's kind of cool. Like, oh, okay. There was some stuff that I think at the time was really interesting, and now does feel a little slow. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it often does feel pretty slow, but and then does have a kind of weird tonal change. My teenage heart loved Wing when I first saw it. Oh, totally. Like I said, I mean, I had been a little familiar. Like, I knew who Char was. I knew like what the RX-78 looked like, 72 looked like. Like, I was familiar with those shows and those kits, but I wasn't like a super fan of anything until eventually. This is C1. Yeah, here we go. But yeah, eventually I was like, oh, okay, Wing really hit me. I was really into the story. I was really into the characters and the Gundams, and then I started watching. I watched G Gundam, and I watched Gundam X. I started trying to go through the alternate centuries, and I was on board. I think I didn't watch Destiny. I watched Seed, but not Destiny. I got really on board with going back and trying to go through. And I've watched most shows. There are still some shows I've never seen. Like I've never seen Gundam Age, and I've never seen Reconquista in G, or G Reco, as I will probably call it, because it's easier to call it G Reco. Still never seen G Reco, but did get a kit from G Reco. Because I've never built anything. It's the only Gundam anime series that I haven't built anything from, but I did get this Zaku looking dude, this like very clear homage to a Zaku, which is Jahannam. Jahannam. The Jahannam is just a great green friend with like kind of the Doom mask. And that is just like, like their mass produced mobile suit from the show. But I got that for a good deal because it's hard to get those these days. But that's the only anime Gundam I haven't built for them. So I'm excited to eventually build that. It's in the backlog now. Very fun. Someday I will. We'll build for here for a little while longer. We are going to raid at the end of the stream. We always raid. We're going to find someone cool, probably on the West Coast, probably playing a video game, because those are what my friends do on the West Coast, and I like to go and raid at the end of a stream. Send you on to somebody cool doing cool shit. That's what I like to do. All right, we'll get that going there. My next build stream will be Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. I will be continuing the Deathscythe. We've already made quite a bit of progress here, but we will continue on that stream and do more cool shit there. And then we will Wednesday, again on Wednesday, please come check me out for my stream at 9 p.m. Eastern, where I'm playing Jackbox games with chat. We're playing through a bunch of different Jackbox stuff. Looking forward to doing that. Celebrating my birthday on Wednesday with people in chat, which would be very fun. Playing some games. So if you feel free to come hang out on Wednesday night for some birthday Jackbox. And then I don't have necessarily July is I'm going to be doing something in July to kind of celebrate my 4-year streaming anniversary. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to be doing, but most likely one of the things I'll be doing is having some guests come in for audio only while I build. So I can have some conversations with guests. That is a thing that I would like to do. So I am going to kind of try to book some people to come in and hang out with me while I model kit build. Because I think that would be fun. And I'll have like the Discord like overlay thing where you can see like it'll be like above me. They'll be like in the corner there. They'll be like their names will come down when they're talking, so you'll be able to know that they are chatting with people. And they'll be able to watch. And that'll be fun. I think I'm going to do that in July. I don't know when that's going to start. I have to like invite people to come hang out and schedule them because I don't want like I could just be like, hey, if you want to come in any of these days, you can just hang out in the Discord thing and then I'll whatever. But like I don't think I want to do that because what if they all come on one day and there's too many people? So I'm gonna invite like a few people at a time. Be like, hey, if you want to come into this, you can. All right, well, we're almost done with this arm, so let's just finish this arm because then we'll get half of this kit done. Sometimes high grades come together easy. As I said, this kit felt like it was going to be an easy thing for me to build because I've built so many Deathscythes. Also, it's a new modern high grade, and it, it's been like it's just very simple and fun to build. Put a little bit of paint here, major, and just hit that with that. But yeah, we've barely panel lined this at all. We don't really need to do anything with it. Just let it speak for itself, basically. And then yeah, that's where we're going to leave off for tonight with the top half of our Deathscythe. Let me go and go back to this, Mute that. We are going to go raid. I'm going to go find someone awesome for us to go hang out with here, and we'll go chat with them. Feel free to come along this raid if you don't want to. Of course, you do not have to. But if you want to, I would love it. We are going to go and find someone awesome to go chill with. Let's see. Yeah, let's actually raid a like a builder. We never do that. We're gonna go raid the Buttress, who is right now working on something. I'm not sure exactly what they're working on. But yeah, we rarely go and raid a builder, so let's go raid a builder. Let me hit the raid button here, and we'll go. And yeah, let's go do that. So feel free to come along this raid. We're gonna go raid the Buttress, who also took part in the plastic model weekender, I should say. So yeah, we'll go give them a raid. And thanks so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your Monday. Please, 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 on Wednesday, come hang out with me for my birthday stream at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on this channel. And I will see you the next time. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye.